Somebody should be paying me for this. That's all I'm saying. I know I would have paid for this information when I was younger. I just always thought, I was never the kind of girl who could wear my hair like this. I mean, curly hair wasn't as popular. Natural hair wasn't as popular as it is now. Um, and even with the girls that could kind of get away with it, I just felt like that, I tried it and didn't work and it just wasn't for my hair type. And gosh, I just didn't give up, kept asking questions, kept getting information, kept trying new things, and, finally figured it out. Okay, so there are a couple of curls in the front. Now, I haven't had to dip back into the mousse because I used a really generous amount in the beginning. So it feels really good right here. I mean, you can tell, if it's really in there. Sometimes I use so much that as I'm combing it, you'll get like foam on the comb. And that's great too. I just go and put that right back in the roots because the roots, they really need that product too to tame them down. Okay, so now that I'm around to the last pieces of this section, I'm just going to focus on the back now. And I usually do the front of my hair last because it just kind of helps me to see the kind of, see the style, see where the curls are going to fall in the front of my face. And I, like to spend a little bit more time up there. So right now in the back and on the sides, we're just combing it through and working the curls through. Fairly simple, right? Give it a little turn. Okay, now we'll go to this side. And I am hitting a few snags here, which I'm not ashamed of. I'm a black woman, so I'm not afraid of my kinks. I'm not ashamed of them. Just spend a little bit more time working them through, but just try not to snatch them. You really do want to be gentle with your hair. It can take a lot, but, you still want to take care of it. And I know it seems like I'm making the curls somewhat uneven. Some are bigger than others. And that's cool. It's fine. They don't have to be perfect because in essence, you're just wet setting your hair. A lot of us, back in the back in the 90s, who remember there was straw sets where you would go and they would, wet your hair and put straws in it and sit you under the dryer. In essence, that's just what we're doing. It's like a wet set because we're gonna set up our hair the way we want it and then let it dry and then work through all the evening it out and all that after it's dry. So you just it doesn't have to be perfect right now is all I'm saying. Okay. All right, so finally down to this last little section. So I just take the big edge of the comb and I'm going to comb all of it through because some of the front has dried out a little bit, because it's, you know, the last part that I'm getting to. And so I just want to kind of force the moisture that's in there evenly through all of it. Okay, now I'm going to go through it with the fine edge. And the great thing about a fine tooth comb is that it really helps to pull your hair together and keep it together. And that's what you want, because that's what's going to help it to shape, you know, in a more smooth way. When your hair separates, that's when you get the frizz. So fine tooth comb is the way to go. Okay. So I'm just combing through. And, you know, like I said, I've been wearing my hair this way now for a few years. And so it has, you know, it's gotten used to me doing this. And at first, you know, when you try it, obviously, you know, your hair may not fully cooperate with you because it's learning how to do something that it hasn't been doing. So just be patient with your hair. I cut my hair a couple of years ago, and when it grew back, I had to retrain it all over again. And so it just takes time, but, you know, be patient with it. Give it time, you know, to adjust. Also, if you've been straightening your hair a lot, you might notice that your hair is just, even if your natural texture is curly, it has kind of been trained to go straight. And so now even when it's wet, you don't get that curl, you know, that you would want. And there's a way to coax the curl into your hair too. The way that I've been doing it, just kind of forming, you know, the ringlets with your fingers. And then also I'll show you how to kind of put some curl in it in the drying process. So these are like the last little sections right here. And what I'm doing is with the back of the comb, I'm just pushing that mousse from the roots up, and see how it's kind of gathering like right there. That's fine. That just lets me know that I have, you know, some really good moisture in there. And it's also going to help to keep the edges from doing their own thing. Okay, so I think I'm just going to do a nice little part. Sometimes I, you know, just kind of throw it all to the back. You know what? I think I am just going to throw it to the back. And last little section, same thing. Just throw it to the back. Okay. So the hair right now is set, and it looks like the curls are kind of coming along on their own. So two options from here. Don't touch your hair when it's wet. Now is not the time to try to separate the curls and do all of that, because you're just going to get frizz and you're going to get frustrated. Either you have the option of just letting it air dry, which honestly I do almost every single day, and I've just kind of, you know, adjusted to not touching it as much. It's going to take about 2 to 3 hours, just depending on the thickness of your hair, how much hair you have, how long it is, all that. So if you can discipline yourself not to touch your hair until it is completely dry, I mean dry to the root, then cool. If you're not that patient, or if you have somewhere to be, then you can always blow dry it using a diffuser.